What's up everyone, welcome back to my resin lab. First off, I want to give a shout out to the bearded printer for making this cool articulated baby dragon. And if you're not familiar with the term articulated as I was, it's just a fancy way of saying it's flexible. I'll have a link below if you want to print it. It makes a great toy for kids, and this one I'm printing out for my little girl. Since I already have the file downloaded, I'm just going to open it up in the Cheeto box to see if it needs any adjusting. I'll begin by rotating it 90 degrees so it fits better on the build plate. Then I'll center it. This one doesn't seem to need any support, so I'll leave it as is and send it over to the printer. Now that it's over on the printer, I'll hit print and let the printer perform its calibration before beginning. Although you can't see it from this angle, I made a newbie mistake and forgot to fasten the build plate. You'll see my mistake on the next shot and how it affected the print. After waiting an hour and a half for the print to complete, I opened the enclosure and I quickly noticed the build plate wasn't fastened down, but the print looked fine and I wasn't too worried until I turned it over. As you can see, the print has a wide bottom. It almost looks as if it were melted on the plate along with some other deformations. I need to set a quick checklist to prevent this in the future. I quickly scraped off the print and started a new one, but this time I remembered to fasten down the build plate. In this shot, you can really see how the print was affected by the moving plate. I'm glad there was no damage to the printer. Now, to pay for my newbie mistake, I have to wait another hour and a half for my next print to complete. After waiting 3 hours for a clean print, I finally got it. As you can see, this one looks way better and it's not deformed. However, I will say that this print was quite difficult to scrape off compared to the Rook. I really had to put some force behind that scraper while also trying to remain careful. Since the resin isn't fully cured, it's easier to break. And you guessed it, I put a little too much muscle into it and I managed to break off a little piece of his claw. Fortunately, it looks like it's something I can repair with a little bit of Gorilla Glue. Now that I'm done fighting with this lizard, it's time to give him a bath. This small piece, I'll take over to the sink and wash it with an alcohol-filled spray bottle and a toothbrush. Also, this print is about medium size, so I'll give it a good 4 minutes to bathe in the alcohol to really get all that resin off. After the bath, I place the lizard and his missing finger to cook in the UV station for a good 2 minutes. Now that it's fully cured, it's time to start the fun part. I'll begin by adding the first coat of primer. When it came to choosing my primer, I did a little research and found that the brand Vallejo makes great products, so I decided to try it. And it looks like it did a very good job. By now, the print had been sitting for 24 hours. 12 hours per coat according to the primer instructions. For the paint color, I had my little girl choose the color she wanted to drag in, and she chose this squid pink. As for the paint, I also went with the Vallejo brand. I found a really nice beginner set that came with 40 different 8ml paint bottles. I'll have a link in the description to all the products I used in this video. After letting it dry overnight, I added a second coat and looked for any areas that were missed during the first coat. Even though I made a newbie mistake in the beginning, it all worked out and I had a lot of fun. I added white around the eyes to create a black iris and a pink pupil. Afterwards, I added a third color on top of its spikes to give it some character. I think it actually turned out great, and painting this was a challenge, trying to make sure I didn't miss any areas. Since it was a gift for my little girl, I wanted it to look good. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button and subscribe to see my next print and paint. See you next time.